about lighting. How are we doing? Are we going to run out? No, no, plenty of time. Oh, cough in that case. So, do I still have the thing? Right, the next thing to note is about lean. So going back to the eyeball, if we've got a whole eyeball and the iris, and the pupil and the iris, pupil and iris. So the iris is the thing that's actually you're looking into the physical eye. So that's like the cave of the eye. And the reason you get red eye in a photograph is you manage to get the angle of light exactly right to shine on the back of the cave, which is what you often get with cat's eyes. So let's imagine you've got a light source over here. So the physical eyeball has a front to it, so there's a roundness to it. So we're expecting this kind of highlight kind of over here, if we've got a light source over here, and we're expecting just of the white gelatinous bit, we're expecting this kind of form shadow pattern of that we would see in a normal sphere. I'll just do that generally. I'm not going to go too dark because obviously it's the white of the eye. Okay, put the highlight in. I'm just going to put it there for a second to make it look like, well, frankly, make it look like a Death Star. So the whole eye itself, we're expecting this kind of form shadow of, this is in the light, this is the core of the shadow as we go into the dark, and this would have been reflected light if the eyeball had been out in public. So the main interesting part of an eye is the pupil. Not the pupil, the iris. I keep mixing them up. So the interesting thing about this area is you can think of it as being like two surfaces. The colour is on the back of, the colour of the iris is on the back of a concaved surface. And the little dot of light is reflected off the front surface of the jelly that covers that. So while we have a general pattern for the eyeball of this, of going from light into here, the colour bit, we actually see an inversion because it's actually that way around. So the colour bit, as if we had a saucer, we actually get the shadow on this side and the peak of the light here. Get my slushy stick. So, and there's a grey ring around this the edge as the kind of the colour bit joins in with the white bit. So, and it's made of stripy stuff. So if I just put a little bit of that in. So when we are looking at an eyeball, let's pretend it's not got any skin around it, we are looking at something that really does look like the Death Star, where we've got this round sphere with a saucer missing from it. The thing that gets it a bit more interesting, if I drew it in profile, is your eye actually, where the colour bit happens, this concave bit, there's actually a lump here. So we don't just get one highlight, we get another kind of highlight over here. So when you're looking at an eyeball, we have the source of light, we have the brightest part of the colour of the eye, the lightest, brightest part of the colour of the eye over here, further away from the light source. So we have that version there. But then we have the spot of the light of the eye. So this saucer is this thing. The cave is here, so we're looking at, that would be the cave, looking into the cave. But this spot of light that you see on an eye is on the eye. It's not in the eye. The colour is in the eye, marginally, but the spot of light is on the eye. So we go back to it being a convex space. So your spot of light will be kind of there. And if I just kind of crisp up the pupil, then you can see that looks like an eyeball. The next thing to note is we then stick, we then stick something over it to put the skin round. And that thing casts the shadow. Actually, if this had been in a fairground standing on a table, it would have had a shadow like this. So this pattern is called form shadow, and this pattern is called a cast shadow. So the form shadow happens on the thing, and the cast shadow is thrown by the thing. It's cast off by the object. If we imagine we have an eyelid over here, the eyelid itself casts a shadow. So we end up with this area under the eyelid that is in shade. And let's say that's the lower eyelid. So let's just pretend we've got something going on like that. So the eyelashes might be coming out from here. Obviously, it's nice and easy towards this end, but you'll find that they do they're kind of coming out towards you, and so it's almost like you kind of got a foreshortening thing of they're doing stuff. Can't do my hand at a funny enough angle. Can we just assume you get the vibe? I'll just put my eyeshadow, the top of the eyelid there. So if I do that, so we've got a rough sense of the eyelid casting a shadow, and because it's a cast shadow like this one, it has a hardish edge. And the main thing to note is this spot of light is definitely underneath that area. This lower lid, where we go in, because it's a round thing, it will, just as this thing did, it will catch the light. Let's just line that up a bit. So you will be able to see a certain thickness of the skin here. So that edge is touching the eye, and this edge is further forward and is roughly where the eyelashes come from. There's a kind of few millimeters where, well, kind of a millimeter thickness where the eyelashes come from. And you've got these kind of cast shadows, not cast shadows, you've got these kind of form shadows going around the corner as we get into that nice bit. And because there's an edge on there, in addition to the darkness due to the eyelashes, you've also got a darkness due to going around the corner of the form shadow. So you're looking for that kind of pattern in an eye, and you'll have similar stuff going on here, and the pattern of light and stuff in there will tell you things about how quickly and how harshly we go around the corner. So highlight, 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 A little bit of highlight, the highlight in the colour. So they're the kind of things you're looking for when you're looking at eyes. Right. Should I do noses at this point? Ooh, probably not. Have a pause.